All right, so let's kind of transition now into making 2017 totally rock. Take it away, Dan.
Will do. Thank you, Ben. What are some of the things that we can do for 2017 to make it totally rock? Let me ask you guys, how many of you have heard I guess it would be called an acronym, right? Or the abbreviation of what FEAR stands for the letters FEAR? I want to see how many of you have heard us talk about that, or maybe somebody else. Let me see. All right, Michael saying yes. Okay. Like it. Mark. Yep. Mark wrote it out. Oh, Butch, I've never heard anybody say false impressions. Interesting. That's the first time I've seen that. Expectations, close. Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess that could work as well. Okay, cool. Yeah, so for those of you that haven't heard of it, like I think Andrew said he hasn't, I think there was a couple other ones in there as well, it is false evidence appearing real, right? Or expectations, I guess that can go as well, or the emotion as well. I mean, a lot of these can go with that, but this actually really helped me years ago when I first heard it, probably like 14, 15 or so years ago. And I've lived my life to it because it just helps me, because I was one of those people that had a lot of fears going on in my life, right? And I had to learn not only, well, let me ask you this. How many of you think, is fear good or bad? Before I start going in it, don't be afraid to answer. I'm waiting for answers here. Okay. I'm seeing Roy says both. Christian saying bad. Roger saying good. Mary saying depends. Butch saying it can be good. Both can be good. Okay. I like that. I like that. I like that. Andrew says, has an upside if it's a lion you're facing. Nice, nice. Especially if you're with a friend and the fear hits you really hard and then you run faster than your friend. Right? Nice, nice. Well, to be honest, fear is not bad. And it took me a while to even understand that, because I thought it was something that I had to battle. And fear is an excellent tool to motivate you and to teach you and to prevent you from doing stupid shit. Okay. These are one of those times that I am in a curse to keep you from doing stupid shit. Okay. But you have to learn how to use it correctly. Because I'll tell you what, if you didn't have fear and you learn how to shut off fear, then what happens when you decide, hey, I'm going to take a selfie of myself because I'm going hiking, and oh, hey, this cliff over here looks pretty cool. I'm going to take a nice selfie over here overlooking, the valley or this area. And then, the fear doesn't kick in and you go a little too close and then you fall over, right? Well, that really sucks. Or when you're driving in a car and you have no fear of that yellow line in the middle of the road, and you just decide, oh, I don't fear that yellow line, so I'm just going to go right over it and just decide to stick over here on the wrong side or pass like 10 cars, even though I see another car might be coming up. Of course, well, obviously, those are times that you want to listen into your fear, right? So if you listen to it and use it correctly, then fear is an excellent tool. But it's like fear can hit you, and if you didn't have that fear and learn how to use it, then it wouldn't give you that boost or that energy to go out there and understand, I need to go get another client this month, or sell an asset, or lease an asset, or create a digital asset, or do something out there to bring in some money to pay for my rent or my mortgage, or just to put food on the table. Because if you don't have that fear and you're not using it correctly, then you're not going to be able to do those things, right? Now, fear in a bad way, just for those things that are keeping you like oh, I'm just going to sit in the corner and cry. Well, I want you to think, okay, that whole thing, that false evidence appearing real, or anything similar to that. So false evidence appearing real. The reason why we say it that way is because it hasn't happened, so it's false. The fear. It's like you're predicting something's going to happen that hasn't happened yet. Well, I'll tell you what, if you wrote down everything that you fear each day for 2 weeks and then go back and tally up all the things that you feared that actually happened in your life, how many of those things do you think would actually happen? Well, I've done it in the past, and I'll tell you that less than 1%, even less than that, I don't even know what number that is, 0.0001% actually happen, you know? So, or might never even happen in your entire life. So I'll tell you at the end of my life if it happened. What's that last day? I'll let you know. Oh yeah, that one thing I feared, a couple times never happened because I'm about to die today. So, boom, yes, So I can't tell you those things, but it's a waste of time and an energy on it. So stop fearing those things. Learn for ways to use fear as a tool, a way to juice you, a way to use that energy to get out there and get things done, get shit done, right? Just imagine how much more could you get done if you stopped worrying about the worthless crap that fear is forcing you, or feels like it's forcing you to not be able to do anything. How many things do you think you can get done? Put in the chat box. You learn how to use
Yeah,
it correctly.
and another side of that is if used incorrectly, fear creates your own self-imposed scarcity and your own self-imposed prison. It limits you from doing what you are capable of. If used correctly, you use fear to motivate you the other way. Like, I just ask myself sometimes, like, if I feel fear coming, which is a natural human tendency to have that emotion, boil up inside you, and you start feeling fearful about something. That's natural. All right? There are evolutionary reasons for it, like survival. But some of those, like, we have gone way beyond in becoming a more technologically advanced society and all these things that, we're still wired the same way, cave people were wired, in terms of like having these fears of a predator coming and getting us, like that's not really likely to happen, but we're wired that way. But you can motivate yourself the opposite way and say, an exercise I do when I feel that, I ask myself, well, maybe it has to do with picking up the phone and calling somebody to ask them for something. It doesn't even have to be selling anything. It could just be like I'm just uncomfortable calling and asking a favor from somebody or whatever because I have a fear of this rejection, of whatever I've told myself and started building up in my mind. And then I ask myself, well, if I don't do it, if I don't just pick up that phone and call that person, well, hell, the outcome is this horrible possibility of me not getting anything done and me not making my mortgage payment this month or whatever. I'm like, well, hell, I fear that a whole hell of a lot more, so it's redistributing it. But when I was saying just a second ago about creating your own self-imposed scarcity or your own self-imposed prison, here's an example, and I'm going to go ahead and preach to you for 1 second here. A lot of you guys, I used to do this too. A lot of you guys, you're really nervous and hesitant to get in there in the forum or in the groups and talk about your niches. Why is that? I mean, I'm not telling you have to. I'm not telling you to expose like, okay, I'm working on this niche in this city. I'm not telling you have to do that. But I want you to think about that for a second, because it's this old saying, like when I was early in my business and I had this chance to take on an investor, I remember being taught this because I didn't want to take on investors. Like I wanted to own 100% of my little my little import export business, and I didn't want to do all this stuff. And one of my mentors, I was in my 20s. I was young. I was like 21 years old, I think, at the time. And one of my mentors told me, like, look, do you want to own 100% of $100,000 a year, or do you want to own 20% of $5 million a year? I was like, okay, it opened my mind up. Like, okay, that's kind of where I started understanding more and more about abundance. And guys, look at some of the stuff we've done. How many like open like case studies do we have, like where we've just outright shared our assets, our niches, and keywords and everything? How many of those have been destroyed by someone else?
Man, if any, I mean, I know at one point we saw one, maybe one, and then I remember that it actually went away. So like that one doesn't even count anymore.
Yeah, and so the point I'm making is part of that is, hey, you are part of this community and this group of everybody who wants to see everybody succeed. You want to succeed for yourself, and there's nothing selfish about that. But hey, being part of a group of everybody who's working together towards that goal, allowing everybody to help everybody. I mean, man, stop being scared of if you need help, don't be scared to say, look, I'm doing this niche in this city. That's the point I'm making. Can you like allow yourself to be open to allowing yourself to not have that fear of somebody else coming to get you? Because we got tens of thousands of niches in cities. I mean, you start adding it all up and doing the multiples. I mean, I'll tell you right now, there's less than 1,000 people that have Igniter in the world. And let's just say we grew that thing and we had 10,000 people using Igniter. That would probably be the absolute max. Even at 10,000 people, there'd be like 20,000 different combinations for every single person. Like we've done the math. Like when you look at niches and cities and all this stuff. So let's stop being scared to talk about those things. We asked a lot of you guys here, like, okay, we want to do some reviews and provide some pointers and tips. We can help you better if you're open to getting past that fear. You agree, Dan?
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Don't be afraid, Don't be afraid. The other thing too is actually I just saw Mary made a comment. It was really good. She said that her biggest fear is being judged as not good enough. Well, you know what? That is part of your survival, right? Because that doesn't serve you in today's day and age. Because I'll tell you what, like yeah, maybe like in school, maybe in school if you did something like picked your nose in public, then everybody will make fun of you and you'll be known as nose picker Mary. I don't know, something like that. They come up with something probably more catchy, but but I'll tell you what, in today's day and age, if you go outside your house and you pick your nose and your neighbors see you, if they call you names, you're not going to hear it. So it doesn't freaking matter. Who cares? I mean, when I take a shower, like my wife is always closing the curtains and stuff and the blinds, and I'm like just butt naked outside or not outside, but in my big bathroom, right? And I know probably maybe the neighbors can see me. I don't know. I don't know, but I don't really care because I don't hear anything from them. So, so maybe somebody down on the other side of the golf course with binoculars or a telescope, maybe they're looking at it. I don't know, but I don't really care, right? So stop worrying about what other people think of you or, being judged. It doesn't matter. All that matters is your own opinion about yourself. And the best part is you can change that opinion anytime you want, right? You control that.
Absolutely. And then, yeah, Kevin, you only get help when you ask for it. So that's the way it is. So
Nice.
anything else to add before
Yeah.
we start doing check-ins and
I
Q&A
had,
here?
I had a couple more things I wanted to throw in
Okay,
because I got something
preach on, my man.
I got some that's built up because it's been a while since I've preached these. I think about a year. So I'm going to hit you guys with some more. The other thing I want to mention, this is something that I kind of just learned myself not that long ago, and it has to do with the desires that you have in your life. What are some of the desires you guys have? What are some of the things that you want, that you desire, that you want to buy, get, or have? It can be a car, it could be a house, it could be a yacht, right? It can be a speedboat, it can be a diamond watch, it can be a cool watch collection like Ben, right?
Put something in the chat box. Put
Put it
one
on
thing
the
in the
chat box.
chat box.
I want to
Put
see
one
it.
thing
I
in the
want to
chat
see it.
box.
Okay, Patty. Okay, I like that, Patty. Retirement with no financial worries. But you know what? Get more specific. What are some of the things you want, right? Because retirement with no financial worries sounds good, but there's nothing to really, that's like you can move the goal line so many times. That's like me and Ben when we used to say, we want to be financially free, but we were never financially free until we said we want
A
to make
number.
100 grand a year.
A number.
And
A
then
number. So,
we
Patty,
moved the
tell us a
goal line.
number. What's that number you need to be financially free for you?
Yeah. Because 100 grand a year will barely even cover, my mortgage and eating at McDonald's, basically. by myself. Okay, Butch, is that you? Yeah, Butch, motor glider, cool. Mary, bigger home. What size house, Mary? How much is it going to cost? I want to know how big is it? How big is it? Okay, Phil, mortgage free. Okay, well, you're never going to be truly mortgage free, Phil. You're never going to be truly mortgage free, unfortunately, because yeah, you could pay off your mortgage, but you still got to pay the taxes and all that other stuff. And then you're still going to have to do repairs and things like that. So there's nothing wrong with paying off your mortgage. That is a great goal to have, but you also want to think a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. I want to pay off my mortgage, and I also want to have a, vacation home, or I want to build an extension onto my house, or I want to, put a waterfall in my backyard, or a saltwater pool, or something else, right? I want to have a zip line in my backyard. I want to have a water slide going through the inside of my house to the outside. It doesn't even have to be that big. I'm just giving you some ideas here to think big.
You just
Patty.
remind me of our buddy Jesse. I wonder if he ever installed that zip line in his backyard.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't see any pictures of that, so I doubt it. Patty, okay, 10K a month. Okay, very cool, very cool. That's $120,000 a year, by the way. Vacation home on Mexico Pacific Coast. That's Michael. Very cool. I like it. I like it. And do you have a picture of that, Michael? Did you go out and go online or go in a magazine and cut out a picture and put it on your wall or put it in a book somewhere that you can look at it often? Put it as a screensaver, or a rotating screensaver, or you can even go on Amazon and order one of those frames where you can get an SD card. And I know they have Wi-Fi ones now too, but the research shows that the SD card ones are still a little bit better, more reliable. But you can get that, and you could rotate images of all the stuff you want, right? Put that in there and have it constantly going. Roger, travel to Iceland to sit in the natural springs. I like that. That sounds like fun. Let's do that, man. Let's see. They have those in Sun Valley, Idaho as well. Tony Robbins actually is, I think there's like one or two, I think there's like two or three in all of, I think he said Northern California, or not Northern, but in the US, or maybe I'm incorrect. I thought he said there was like only like two or three in the US, and he has one of them in his backyard. I didn't go in it because it was just too damn cold outside. I was like, forget that. Beach house, Jocelyn says, love it, love it. Okay. Mercedes C260 AMG says, Denisha.
C63,
Awesome.
C63 AMG. Denisha, man, I'm telling you, you want
Oh, she
you also
changed
should
it. She updated it. Like it.
you should also test drive the M4. I'm just telling you, just telling you.
Yeah, but man, the Benz looks so beautiful inside. So it just depends on what you're looking to do. But
It
yeah, test
is.
drive them both.
It definitely is.
Better financing with BMW too, by the way. That's why I keep going back and forth. We've had Mercedes our whole life, so my whole family. Let's see. Afford to travel to Maryland with my family every year to visit in-laws. Love it, Andrew. 25K a month, says Tony. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing some awesome stuff here. And you know what? This is great that you guys put this out here. I mean, we should actually create a thread in the Digital Asset Academy, just one thread where everybody just puts in all the stuff they want. And they're just list of all the things that they're going to achieve and that they want to achieve, and images as well, because I want to see all that in there because I love this. Yeah. So what I was going to tell you guys, and the point I was getting to, right? Point I was getting to is I want you to understand this. The reason why, and this is what really flipped for me, flipped my switch this year, right? Because there was a couple things holding me back as well, still, which is pretty funny. And I'm going to tell you the same thing that was told to me. That the reason why you desire these things is not because somebody else told you that you should get them, or because you're jealous or whatever else or anything like that, right? Or your upbringing or anything like that. It has to do with your value, how you internally see your value, how much you know you are worth, right? This is your value. You deserve it. These are things that you deserve in your life, but it doesn't guarantee that you're going to get them. It just guarantees this is what you see yourself deserving and that your value is worth. But it's up to you to go out and get it. Okay? You are only stopping yourself from getting these things. It's achievable in this lifetime for you. Now, you know what? Maybe something's holding you back and you don't get past it. Well, you know what? Some point you're going to get there, right? Whether you believe in the afterlife, the next life, or reincarnation or whatever, it's something that we believe in. And this is something that you will reach, whether it be this lifetime, the next lifetime, the next lifetime. So I'm not trying to get religious or anything like that. But bottom line is, you deserve this. It's part of your value. It's what you value yourself. So you just need to go out there and get it. Simple as that. Write that down. Write down that this is my value. This is what I deserve. And get there.
And something I've done, and this is very counterintuitive, don't take this as specific legal or financial advice here, but something I've done. Sometimes any time in my life I've ever felt like I've hit some sort of plateau in my business, in my life, or whatever, I've learned that even though it feels completely contrary to the right move, that's usually when I've found that it's the best time to start investing in something like so. I mean, in other words, if I find, I can't break past this goal of hitting this financial objective, okay, maybe I have some goal. I'll go out and I'll clear out a lot of my savings or whatever I got and go buy something expensive, and then lo and behold, a month later I've more than crushed my objective. But when I start holding back and saying, I got to be all saving and pinching everything, and clutching it tight and everything, it seems like I cannot break through. But that includes my personal life. Like I might make some big, huge investment in my relationship with my wife or my family. Like take the time off to go do it, even though it may seem counterintuitive to other things I'm doing. You have to sometimes you have to what do you say, Dan? You do have to just jump and let the net appear.
Yep.
And I'm not. Do not misunderstand me and get yourself into financial trouble making a bad decision. But sometimes for me, it works really well when I just basically reverse engineer. I'm like, well, hell, I just got this expensive house. I got to go pay for it now. I have no choice. I kind of create my own. I kind of create my own burn the ships behind me scenario.
Yep. Yeah, and there's not going to be a point. I know a couple people in here mentioned, I want to buy this with cash. I want to do this for cash. But you know what? It's a lot easier to go out and get a $70,000 as Roy says, a $70,000 bass boat, right? Or Denisha was saying the AMG Mercedes, right? They want to buy cash. Well, you know what? You might be a year, 2 years, 3 years from being able to do that. But you know what? There are some things that you got to get now, right? And whether you have to finance it, then that is totally fine, right? I mean, sometimes it makes better sense. Like Ben does nothing but lease his cars because it makes better sense tax-wise, freeing up your cash so he can spend money and so we can put our money into getting more development done. That'll make us more money in turn. So on certain things, don't wait until you've got like a big flux of cash until you can go out and go buy something, right? And that'll bring us up to something else in a little bit. But, and again, I'm not saying go out there like Ben said, don't go out there and just accumulate a ton of debt. But you know what? If you're waiting to make $2 million so you can go buy your big house while you're living in a 1,200 square foot studio apartment or 1,000 square foot studio apartment, or in LA in a 400 square foot studio apartment that's costing you like $3,000 to live in or $4,000 to live in a month, you got to take the next step if you want to be able to get past that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, unless Ben had anything else to talk about on that, did you have anything else you want to mention or no?
Nope.
Okay, cool. The next thing I wanted to mention was going on a mental colonic. Now, how many of you have heard me talk about this before, a mental colonic? Okay. A couple people saying yes, no. Okay. No, yes. Roger says yes. Okay. I like that. Butch says, as in a mental enema? Yes. A mental what? Joel, a mental colonic. Yeah, that's where they stick a tube up your butt and cleanse your internals.
All right, all right, all right. I just call this sitting on a rock, by the way.
Wait, you sit on a rock to get a mental cleanse? Well, I'm going somewhere a little different with it this time than sitting on a rock. Okay, so this is something that that I learned. It wasn't called a mental colonic. It's just the name I gave it, right? A mental cleanse, right? Something that was taught to me probably about what, like maybe 14, 15 years ago, right? And we did it for about 2 years to 3 years straight. It was a little over 2 years straight. We canceled our cable, and to this date, we still do not have regular TV cable. It's a lot easier now with streaming, with Netflix and Hulu and cool channels like that. But back then, we didn't have any of those things. Back then, the streaming for us was, going to my parents' house and watching their cable sometimes, but and there's a reason why we did this. It wasn't because we wanted to save money. It wasn't because we couldn't afford it. It was because we were going on a mental cleanse, a mental colonic, right? Now, how many of you have heard what the word news stands for? So NEWS, the acronym for that. Anybody? Put it in the chat box. News. NEWS. What do you think it stands for? Come on, even if you don't know, pretend like you do. Paul, northeast, west, south. Okay, well, I'm not talking about the official one. Okay, not the official. What it really means. Andrew's close. He says crap. I like Roger. Automatic income reducer. Yeah, that'd be AIR. Nice, nice. Okay, I'm liking some of these right here. Okay, this is the acronym I heard years ago. Negative entertainment while sitting. Okay, negative entertainment while sitting because it is so freaking negative, right? It is so negative and it makes you feel like shit. I like that. Patty says never ending wasted space. Love it. Okay. I like Amir said, not even worth shit. Love it. All those are correct. All those are correct. I love it. Negative entertainment while sitting. So part of the colonic, the mental colonic, is avoiding the news, avoiding TV. Because trust me, you know what? If something bad happens, well, now you guys got Facebook too. It shows up on Facebook, so you're gonna have to take a little break on that a little bit too. But or just scroll right past it. Don't even view it. Unfollow things that have to do with negative stuff or people that are constantly negative, right? So what you want to do is avoid the news, avoid TV, and avoid anything that's negative entertainment, right? Now, back then, we did this 7 days a week, pretty much. One of the days we allowed ourselves to watch one of our favorite shows, and that was once a week, the day that it would air, which I think was like a Thursday, right? So Thursday night, we'd go to my parents' house and we'd go watch a show. So you can have what's called a zigzag day, right? So you are zigging and then you can zag one day, right? So try this out. Just try it for 2 weeks. Commit for the next 2 weeks. And if that works, try it for 40 days. And if that works, try it for a couple more months. Just keep giving yourself a little bit of a challenge to try this for a little bit and see how much more productive you can get by avoiding a lot of this negative crap that's out there and, trying to get your attention. And you can reward yourself once a week. Watch your favorite show, watch two of your favorite shows. I mean, heck, you could spend the whole day watching TV if you really wanted to, but I'm not suggesting you do that. But do this mental colonic, and I am sure that you will get some awesome results. Let's see. All right. You want anything you want to add to that, Ben? Before I move to the
No,
next
I
one?
mean, I didn't. I guess I did this a similar thing a while back. I mean, dude, I'm not gonna lie. I watch a shit ton of TV. Like that's what my wife and I do every night. We wind down, like, for the last 2 hours of the evening, watch 2 hours of TV, there in our movie room, like we got all those Netflix shows. But I will say, I even to this day, I make a very concerted effort to be very careful about the kind of information that comes in, uh, because a lot of it, yeah, just creates stress for no reason. It's nothing I can do about it. Like there's some really bad shit happening in the world, and it's not out of a lack of sympathy or lack of care or anything like that. It's what if it's nothing I can actually do right now about it, you know, it's only stressing me and taking away from the positive that I can put into the world. So that's important. And I kind of discovered this on my own. I went through a really horrible time a few years back, and I basically grabbed a backpack and left and just lived out of a backpack for over a year, like traveling all over the world. And I really had very limited access to news and TV and everything because I was just like living in hostels, backpacker hostels, and going, just jumping around. I was running an internet business, so I'd get online to do some things every day for like an hour or two a day. But I remember how productive I was in those 1 or 2 hours every day because I wasn't absorbing anything. I wasn't absorbing and taking on any negative crap, and so it was pretty cool. And that wasn't really because I was intentionally trying to do it. It was just because I was busy out, like, climbing mountains and doing fun stuff. I was like, I didn't want to. I had no reason to want to sit back and watch the news or anything. So anyway, yeah, that's all awesome stuff. Anything else
Yeah.
before we go into check-ins and Q&A?
Yeah, and Ben, I mean that's pretty much what you did. You went on a mental colonic without even trying. So that is awesome. And the other thing that kind of ties into that as well is one of the Rockstar lessons is spiritual vampires, right? Avoid spiritual vampires. And what does that mean? It means love your family and choose your friends. And this also includes for business partners and people that you work with. And this can be let's say you hire somebody to be your virtual assistant, or let's say you decide to partner up with somebody and they're going to build sites and you're going to sell them, or they're going to sell them and you're going to build them. Well, you know what? If they're a negative spiritual vampire, then I would avoid them. You don't need that crap in your life, right? What's that old saying? If you want to I always forget exactly how it goes, but the financial wealth of your friends. What was that again?
Oh, your net worth is based on who you hang out with. I mean, if you look at the average net worth of your friends, of the five closest people to you, you're probably going to be within 1 or 2 percentage points. That's been proven many times.
Well,
Um,
and the
it's
other,
it's
okay.
and it's not to say don't hang out with people who are broke. No, it's a mentality. It's a broke mentality versus an abundant mentality.
Yeah, you need to remember that that it's not only financial. So that goes so many ways because it's not just financial wealth, spiritual wealth, health wealth, right? Physical wealth, I mean, emotional wealth, that all goes together, right? So you can still have your lifelong friends and your family and stuff like that, but if they're negative influence in your life, you need to see them less and get around more positive people. Okay. So, how do you make new friends? Well, ask yourself, where do they hang out? Go to local events, go to local meetups, go to big events, go to small events, hire a coach, right? I
Yeah,
mean, that's a
that's one of the
great way.
reasons. That's one of the reasons we get out and go to a lot of the internet marketing events. It's one of the reasons we go to masterminds and coaching things. I mean, we want to be around other people doing a lot of what we're doing and thinking of the world the same way we do. And here's something really important for you is you need to really look at one thing a little differently if you haven't already done this. I'm gonna pose this as a question instead of as a command. Okay? Have any of you just put a yes? I mean, even if it's not recently, have any of you here ever not done something? that you wanted to do in your business. Maybe you had a business idea. Maybe it was something to do with digital assets. Maybe it was something else. Maybe anything in your business or your entrepreneurial path. Have you ever held back because of negative feedback from friends? Like, oh, you'll never succeed at doing that. Right? There's no way that'll happen. That's a bad idea. Has that ever happened to you? Yes, you got shitty friends. I'm once I dumped all those friends, I'm not telling you to dump all your friends, but once I got to where I kept an arm's length from friends like that and went to friends that said, because, hey, I might have a shitty idea, but sometimes a friend just needs to let me sound it off first, and I'll figure that out. It's a bad idea myself. I don't need somebody whose knee-jerk reaction and anything is, no, here's why it won't work. I mean, if you can't have a soundboard, man, that's one of the reasons the Academy exists, by the way. I mean, everybody in this Academy, everybody here right now, that's a soundboard. These are people that want to see you succeed. These are people that want to see you succeed. So if you have friends in your life that are like that, it's not because you have bad ideas necessarily. It's because you have friends who aren't really supportive of your dreams.
Well, and
because your dreams make them feel less.
Yeah, let me get a little deeper on that then too, because there's another variation of that. It's not their fault because they don't know any better. It's just like if you put your hand into a little if you put your hand in, I'm trying to think of the word, but like a fish tank or aquarium, whatever they call those for non-fish, right? You put yourself in a glass case that has a scorpion in there, and you put your hand in there and you get stung by the scorpion. Is it the scorpion's fault? No, because the scorpion's being a scorpion. It doesn't know any better. It doesn't have any ill feelings towards you. It's not sitting there going, oh, there's that dude, I'm gonna go sting his ass, right? Yeah, oh yeah, I hate that mofo, right? No, it's not. It's being they don't know any better. So the same thing goes. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but having a son, I really didn't know how many times I get hit in the nuts. It's like, man, they would kick me. My son Bodie would kick me in the nuts so many times. It hurts. I don't know how many of you have boys have got hit in the nuts, whether it be they kicked you, punched you, or threw something there on accident, sometimes on purpose. But man, it's not, they don't know any better. They don't know any better. Okay. So knowing that, this is some of the advice that I've given my own family as well, is don't share things with people that can't help. Don't share about how you are going to invest in something. Don't share about how you're going to build this digital asset, or you're going to go and lease it out there and you're going to make $10,000 a month and all this stuff to people that have never done it themselves and aren't doing that themselves. To somebody that has like what they call a safe, secure, cushy job with benefits. That's bullshit, right? But don't talk to those people about those kind of goals. Don't talk about how you're going to get this brand new, AMG Mercedes when they're driving hoopties, right? They're driving a wrecked up car and, and they're working a dead end job and they're just not happy in their life because they can't help you with that, right? Don't do it unless it's somebody that is supportive and they're like, that is awesome. That's amazing. And you inspire me as well, because that is great. You don't need to drop those people, because you can inspire and uplift them as well. Now, if they don't take that the same way and they don't take it as like, oh, you're inspiring me, then that's something different. And they just want to like beat on you or anything like that. Now there's, there's other ways of getting around the right people. We talked about events. We talked about seminars. We talked about, what I recommend, the best results I got. And it's going to sound like a little self-promotion here, which it is small events that cost more money. Why? Because it attracts people that are either at a higher level or they are ready to get to that higher level, like the event we're doing. That's the only reason why we're doing these events, is because, or one of the only reasons why, is because we want to help those people achieve a higher level and have them network with other people that are either at a higher level or want to get to a higher level. For me, I dropped $60,000 just to join Tony Robbins Platinum Partners. That's not including trip costs, which was about, anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000 per trip on top of that. So I spent over $150,000 for just that 1 year traveling around with other people operating at a higher level. Some were millionaires, some were just doing like a half a million a year, some were doing, there was one that was doing like $1 billion. So I wanted to surround myself with other people operating at a higher level. Another thing you can do, and I'll mention this last one before I move on to the last thing, is you can intern. You can work for free for somebody. You can, work a couple hours a week or something. You could say, hey, let me help with your support, or let me help you with something, and I'll do that for free so I can learn from you, right? That's another thing you can do as well. Now, that's something I never really did because I didn't really need to. Like, I ended up hiring coaches myself, kind of like how, you guys are pretty much doing. And that's how I got there. But that is something that you could always do. And it doesn't just have to be in this industry. It could be in a different industry. It could be like an investor or something. Somebody that's really smart with investing and you want to help out or something like that. Is there anything you want to add to that?
No, I've always done whenever I was wanting to get into something new, I learned a a really interesting way of doing that, and I call it I refer to it as a research project, and that really has nothing to do with searching Google or doing that kind of research. It has to do with at most you're searching Google to find out who the top experts are in an area you want to master and finding ways to reach out and have a 5 minute conversation with them. And you'll be surprised what doors can open and what you can learn from doing such a thing. That's always been a really cool way of diving into something new. Because if you want to get to another level and everyone you're surrounded with is still at the ground level where you want to get out of, there's no room to move. They will hold you down. I mean, I'm not saying that to be a jerk. It's just the way humans are. Like we stick to that same social circle and don't move to the next one up. It doesn't allow for that movement to be easy to do. So that's why, yeah, go to events. Be active in the forum. Be active in the groups. I mean, these are all you are already surrounded by people that want to see you just crush it. So take advantage.
Well, yeah, Patty brought us something great right here. She just said, when you come from a 9 to 5, people that work 9 to 5, 9 a.m. till 5 p.m., which doesn't really exist that much anymore, blue collar family, they can't understand this type of a life, building digital assets and doing stuff on the internet. So it's better to shut up. Well, you know what, Patty, you are correct with that. Now, the only thing is you still have to be able to share it with somebody. Otherwise, you just can't get it out of you. You can't juice yourself. You can't get around other people that are going to help uplift you, like Ben just mentioned. So that's why you need to talk about it to people in the Digital Asset Academy, not just in text, but make some friends in there. Get on the phone, talk to each other. And then you also need to find people at the higher level so you can get up there. Now, whether you become friends with somebody at the higher level, or you hire them, or you go to their events, like come into our event or something like that, then that's what you need to do. But you need to do it. That's why I hired my coaches and I joined the Platinum Partners, is because I wanted to get there fast, right? And I couldn't go to Tony and say, hey, Tony, I think you're a great guy and I want to learn from you, teach me for free, because he has millions of people coming to him left and right. He barely has time for his own family. So it's not like he just has time to do that. So what did I do? I found an opening, which was paying him money, that I could actually come learn and hang out with him and other people operating at a higher level, which is freaking awesome. Now, the last thing I was going to bring up before we moved on to the open Q&A is making it easy to win. Okay? This is not only in your life, but in your business, in your health, in anything you do. You need to celebrate your successes. Now, I know you've heard, the whole it's better to attract, bees with honey, right? And stuff like that. But the truth is, I mean, a lot of us, right, depending on how old you are, but a lot of us grew up with the teachers. Some of you, right, some of you that even older than us, older than 50, probably remember getting hit with a ruler like my mom did. She used to get beat with a ruler at school when she did something that was perceived wrong or something like that, right? For us, we really just got verbal abuse, and we got that nasty red pen like marks all over. And I was a D minus and an F student, so I got it all the time. I was always in trouble, right? Well, why would I, do good in school if I was constantly being told what I was doing wrong every single day, all day long? Well, of course, I had no desire to do better, right? So the same thing goes in your life is you can't be so critical on yourself that you're not celebrating every little success, whether it be little or big. It doesn't matter. If you just made 10 grand, signing a client, freaking celebrate that. If you just made $100, from a client, celebrate that. If you just sold a t-shirt online and made $10 profit, freaking celebrate that. You need to celebrate every single thing you do. Give yourself a virtual high five, a real high five, a pat on your back. Get outside and scream what you did. Make a video, a testimonial, do something. Get out there and do that. For me, some of the things I like to do, I like to buy myself stuff. I like stuff, right? So I go on Amazon Prime and just buy some cool stuff I wanted, right? Now I don't spend all my money, but if I made like, let's say $1,000, then I might spend, anywhere from $50 to $100. Sometimes I'll spend a little bit more, but I'm not always spending all my money, but I'm always celebrating my successes. When you reach a certain point, you can be like, you know what? After I do this, after I sign 3 clients, I'm going to go out and lease a brand new BMW or brand new Mercedes, or I'm going to go on a trip. I'm going to take my wife or my husband or my significant other, my loved one, my kid, my kids, my whole family. I'm going to take them to Hawaii. Or you know what? I'm not going to take them to Hawaii. I live in LA. So you know what? We're going to rent a nice little, house on the water in Laguna Beach, right? Or Newport Beach or somewhere else. It could be in the same city. It doesn't matter. Or I'm going to take my family out to this really high-end movie theater, right? Or I'm going to go get my nails done, right? Or I'm going to go get a massage, right? I mean, it can be anything, whatever you want to make it. But the most important thing is that you celebrate it no matter how big or small it seems. Because if you're not, you're constantly moving that goal line and you will never grow. You've got to be able to see that finish line, those small finish lines, right? Which would be little goals. Once you reach that, you pass that little thing. I got one client. I'm going to go celebrate. That's what you're doing is you're reaching that, you're making that goal line visible, and you just completed one of those things that you wanted to achieve. And now you're going to celebrate it, which is going to allow you to grow because you're going to feel inside your own body how you just rewarded yourself and how good that feels. And that's going to allow you to open up and get more and more and more and more and more. Anything you want to add to that one, Ben?
That's well said. Well said, man. Well said.
Cool. Well, that's what I got for you. How to make 2017 freaking rock.
Does that sound good, everybody? Are you is this all helpful stuff? Is this helpful stuff? We wanted to really make this as impactful as we could to kind of wind up because for some people this 2016, no, but we're not going to miss it. Some people are not going to miss 2016 at all. Like, let's bring on 2017 and let's do it right. Like, cool, awesome stuff. Look, awesome stuff, Dr. Dan. That's what they're saying. Good stuff. Sweet.
Awesome.
Very needed to
Thank
hear
you.
this. Awesome.